Skin the Heart Away, Southern T, and I'm back. I literally just seen this news come across my Twitter feed. So shit, I had to come on here and report this junk and get my little opinion on it. I just seen that the WBA made Manny the champion in recess, which means they stripped Manny of the WBA belt and that they go give it to Ugas, Ugas. And I had just made a video like 2 days ago saying that if Manny Pacquiao decides that he's going to fight Ryan Garcia, I think the WBA should strip Manny Pacquiao of the belt at 147 because he hasn't had a fight at 147 in 2 years, and Ryan Garcia doesn't fight at 147. So today, the WBA came on out and made Manny champion in recess, which means that Manny is no longer the champ, and they also gave it to Ugas, which means that now Ugas, an active fighter at 147, is not currently the champ. Now, as we all probably know, hardcore boxing fans know Ugas, and you know that Ugas, is a PBC Showtime Fox fighter, which is on the side of Errol Spence. In my video that I made 2 days ago, I said that I wanted Manny to fight, Bud for the other belt because I'm trying to get Spence. My end goal is to get Spence versus Bud. So I feel like if Bud has the other belt, then the 50-50 that he's demanding from Spence, he could get with the other belt. You know what I mean? Because my end goal is to see Bud versus Spence. But more than likely, with your Daniels Ugas being, the regular champ already, and them elevating him to the super champ, which is the belt that Manny just had, and with him already being on the PBC side, more than likely, Errol Spence is going to get that fight. You know what I mean? But something in me hopes that, your Daniels Ugas and Bud fights. Your Daniels Ugas and Bud has a history anyway, so I think it'll be a good fight. It'll be a good build-up. I think they could push that as a pay-per-view fight, with the fact that the Errol Spence fight may be the end goal. I think that fight could be, a pretty big fight. I think people will pay for that fight, Ugas versus Crawford. I think people will pay for that. And I feel like that'll be the only way we'll be able to get Bud versus Spence right now at this point, with how those guys are going with the negotiations and how those guys are going back and forth with each other. I think the only way is for Bud to have 2 belts and Earl to have 2 belts and for them to fight and, unify that way. Other than that, Bud not going to take 60-40 or anything outside of 50-50. So I don't think we're going to get that fight any other way. But with the WBA stripping Manny, more than likely, with WBA stripping Manny and with Ugas being on the PBC side, more than likely Errol Spence Jr. is going to get that fight. And if Errol gets that fight and he beats Ugas, Earl's going to have 3 belts. The split, Earl might want more than 60-40 then, you know what I mean? With him having 3 belts to Terrence Crawford's 1, Earl might really want that 70-30 then. And it'd be even harder to argue him getting, the 70-30 if that's what he decides to do, if he does in fact get this Daniels Ugas fight. But I'm really proud of the WBA, and I want to give him a hand for stepping up and stripping Manny of this title, because I feel like Manny was holding up the division, and I feel like Manny had no intent or goal to try to unify that division. I think Manny Pacquiao was going to sit on that belt as long as he could have sat on that belt. You know what I mean? So I think in hindsight, it may look bad on the surface to some people with the WBA stripping the great Manny Pacquiao and all that, but I think in hindsight, it's going to work out for the better, because I think now we'll finally be able to get unification. Now, depending on if Ugas fights Errol Spence, Bud Crawford, they may even give Keith Thurman a chance, with him being on the PBC side. They may even give Keith Thurman a chance, let Keith Thurman get a shot at Ugas. And I think if Keith Thurman gets the belt, then we should see Bud and Keith Thurman. Or if that happens, Earl and Keith Thurman. Either way, that would be a good fight, because Earl and Keith Thurman never fought, and they got a history. Keith Thurman, it's recorded. Keith Thurman, used to Errol Spence when he was young and up and coming, trying to get a shot at those belts and those champions He used this. It's reported that Keith used to duck Earl. So Keith and Earl got a history. Keith and Bud has never fought before. That'd be a good fight of two top welterweights. There were times people used to have Keith Thurman, top 5 pound for pound fighters. A lot of people have Bud Spencer as that top or top 5 pound for pound fighter. So that's a good pay-per-view fight either way too, either which way. But it's set in stone that Ugas is the new WBA champ at 147 weight class. No more Manny Pacquiao. It's Ugas. It's Ugas. So I see two things happening. Three if we're lucky. I see two things happening. Earl versus Ugas, Keith versus Ugas, and if we're lucky, Bud versus Ugas, because Bud versus Ugas will land us closer to Bud versus Spence, and that's really my end goal is Bud versus Spence. But that's really all I had to say. I just want to come here to let y'all know that my video today, I got my wish from my video 2-3 days ago that I want the WBA to strip Manny. The WBA has indeed stripped Manny Pacquiao and gave Ugas that belt. Ugas is sole outright owner of the WBA belt at 147. And I'm really excited to see what's going to be the direction for 147. For 147, now that Manny Pacquiao is no longer in the division holding the WBA belt hostage. So that's all I got to say, man. Skin the heart away, Southern T. This ain't the past, this ain't the future, but this the present, and that's how we rocking. And I'm out.